Hi. Um, Always awkward to do these, but kind of need to because we are starting on a Wednesday, January 8th, and I am not going to be able to be on campus on January 8th. Um, I do apologize for this. Uh, yeah, I'll probably talk all about it when I come back. Like when we meet in person on, I believe it's the 13th. Yeah. Yeah. January 13th is a Monday. So that's when we will meet in person. So I am going to be making two different videos for you guys. One, actually, I guess technically three, because this is the bio class. This is my welcome intro, let you know who I am, the stuff we would have done at the very beginning of day one. We'll go over the syllabus and all that stuff. So I'm really, really, really hoping you watch this because it will help prepare you for what to expect. Um, hmm, I should have gotten that PowerPoint ready. I didn't. So I am going to grab that real quick because that is super duper helpful. Um, I guess in the meantime, I will tell you what to expect. All right, so this is the welcome for Bio 123. And I am about to do the welcome PowerPoint that I tend to do. So you know what to expect. I'm going to give you a lot of info, stuff that we're going to do. Um, yeah, that kind of thing. Okay. I'm looking through what I had saved and I'm like, no, I don't need that. Yeah, this really is very, 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 very what to expect. So I am going to share the screen so you can see the PowerPoint that we would do. But instead of just the PowerPoint, you're going to get the whole flipping desktop. So here we go. We got it all, hopefully, assuming it works properly. So if we were meeting in person, this is what you would be getting introduced to, and you would be watching me because I pace like crazy. And I'm telling you all this because it's Bio 123. It's an entry class, so chances are none of you have met me yet. Once you get to know me, you tend to take most of my classes and you get used to how much I move and the way I talk and everything. But the first course can be a little overwhelming. So I like to jump in here. So again, welcome, Bio 123. I am Linda Bernhardt. You can call me Ms. Bernhardt, Ms. B, Prof, Professor, teach, whatever. I don't care. Well, I mean, I do care. Don't do anything disrespectful. How's that? Anyway, so the basics. I'm going to tell you who I am, how the course is going to be run, that kind of thing. Clearly, you can't ask me any questions because you're not here. This is on video. But you can always message me the questions and I'll get to it. So, first off, we are going to do the who am I? Clearly, none of these are me. I've kept this slide for so many years. I love this. I need to update it. I semi-updated it later. You have Zoe, which is the gray and white cat. She lives in my daughter's room. Then we have Fang and Osiris. Fang is the gray one. He has since passed on. Osiris, I still have. He is now 13 years old. The humans over there, the one in the back is my oldest son, Pax, who is now 29 and an electrician. The one in the squid hat is my youngest. Her name now is Isabel. And the t-shirt, if you're curious, says you read my t-shirt. That's enough social interaction for the day. And the little one is my nephew, Nickel, who is now early 20s. Slightly updated pictures. These are still a few years old because Fang is no longer with us. He passed back in 2022, I believe it was. Nickel, my nephew, would hate probably if he knew this is the picture I was showing. Yeah. But yeah, so these are my guys. I leave this up to chit chat while I talk because it's, I'm not going to put pictures of me up there. You see me. So where I said at the intro about who I am, I fidget, I move. I have ADHD. I am also on the autism spectrum. I also have auditory processing disorder, which means sometimes you will be talking to me and I'm just going to stare at you and it might take me a moment to respond because sometimes I am like this. I can keep up without an issue at all. Other times it's like the words just kind of do this. And then my brain has to take a moment to put them in the right order. There will be times you might ask me a question and I'm just going to look at you and I might say, what? And then I will start answering you before you've even had a chance to talk again, because sometimes that's what it takes to get it going. The autism part is a thing that, well, I should tell you, both my kids are also on the autism spectrum, and my nephew is ADHD. So it's my normal world. But a lot of other people, it might not be. The autism means I'm going to come at things from a different direction than you probably anticipate. My brain literally works a little bit differently, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It might frustrate you sometimes, but give it time. I promise you, the connections do get made. And you will remember stuff you never thought you would remember because it's kind of weird. It also lets you know that sometimes I might not actually be talking the way I should be talking. And that part of your brain that says that's not okay or that's not appropriate, I seem to not have that very well. I've been working really hard on it. I've got my list of rules in my brain, but a lot of what I do is based on the students. And so you will see me looking at you for my cues. And sometimes I might go a tad too far and I figure it out because then the student goes, oh, and I'm like, oh, crap, I shouldn't have said that. So I apologize ahead of time if I ever say anything that is not okay. I try really hard. If at any point anything I say bothers you, talk to me about it. I mean, it I'm trying to think of the best way. If you just bleh in class, that might not go as well. Respectful, not attack. Just know I'm not trying to be offensive. And so don't come at me like I was. That would be helpful. If you send me a message or talk to me on break or after class and go, hey, Miss B, when you said blah, 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 I'm not sure how you meant it, but this is how I took it. And then I can clarify, and then you can tell me why it's not okay. And then I work on taking it out of my brain. That's really the path I have to go. And I have made a lot of adjustments throughout the years. It's just I kind of need help with it. So just know I am not trying to hurt anybody's feelings or be offensive. I just kind of lack that part and I need help learning. Okay. Also have anxiety and CPTSD and a whole slew of other things. I'm basically a walking alphabet soup of everything. I tell you these things because the more anxious I am, the faster I will start talking. And I can talk really, really fast. And so if I ever start just going really fast, all you have to do is raise your hand. You become my human speed bump. I have to answer questions. That's like wired into my brain. And so it can be about anything. Doesn't matter. Anything at all. But that will force me to stop and then answer the question. And then there you go. I encourage discussion in class. The class is so much better when students actually talk and interact. It is just worlds better. Education background and whatever other background. So I'm also going to come at things from a different angle, not just because of the autism and ADHD stuff, but also because I am a non-traditional student. I'm a rather non-traditional person. I quit school after the 9th grade, got my GED when I turned 18. I have worked so many different jobs, from cocktail waitress in a strip club at the age of 18 to an extruder operator, which means I was the person who would run the machine to make this 200 to 300 foot, 200 to 300 foot. Let's clarify that. plastic bubble that goes through the machines and then make shrink wrap and stuff like that, like the stuff to wrap the bales of hay and things like that. The last job I had before deciding to go to college was a diesel mechanic at a truck stop garage. So I've had a lot of jobs. I was also a photographer. I had my own photography studio for a while, managed a shoe store, waitress. So, I mean, I've done a slew of jobs. My mentality has always been, if you're not happy where you are, change it. So whenever I was not happy at work and I realized I was dreading it, I would change. Ended up going to college in my 30s. A friend of mine, another mechanic at the truck stop where I was, he wanted to go to college. He didn't want to go. He didn't want to go by himself. And so he asked me to go. I told him I was too old for college. He told me I was too old not to go. And I went, good point. So I took the entrance exam and went to Valdosta State University. And then in, what was it? The December of 2009, I graduated with honors with a Bachelor of Science in Biology and a Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy. That January, I started a master's in biology. That summer, I started a master's in public administration. Finished the public administration, I want to say summer maybe of 2012, something like that. I started a doctorate for it, but ran out of funds, had something traumatic happen, which brought the PTSD back. And so that's a whole other story. Never finished the doctorate. Really wish I had, because I wanted to have an office where I had my GED framed and then my doctorate framed. I thought that'd be cool. Then in 2021, 22, 21, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I started a new master's of nutritional science. And in July of 2023, I completed my master's of nutritional science. So you will hear me talk a lot about that. I love learning. You will hear me say constantly as I was researching, or I researched this or something like that, because whenever I have a question pop up in my head, I have to know, and I have to know that the answer I got is the proper answer. I can't just do a one simple Google search, and I hate Wikipedia. So when I tell you, hey, I researched this, trust me that I looked at multiple sources, which I will be talking about in class because that's part of the science thing. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, I also have asthma, and I warn you about that because we meet in the morning, and the morning time is when my lungs are still deciding that they're waking up. And so sometimes you're going to hear me coughing like crazy. No worries. I'm used to that. And I know you can't tell, but I swear I smell some kind of smoke. And I'm like, I hope there's nothing wrong. I guess maybe somebody's grilling. I have no idea. But anyway, it's so funny. Right off the bat, I'm like, enough about me. What about you? But you can't answer questions because this is video. Okay, here we go. So syllabus time. This is the whole reason I decided to share the entire screen, so I don't have to leave, come back, leave, come back. So we are now going to look at your class. This one is yours. Don't laugh at all my stuff. Yes, I have like a million different tabs open, and I have a million different tabs open in 3 different browsers. How to say your ADHD without saying your ADHD. Anyway, so this is your class. You're going to see that it looks like this for me because this is the teacher end. Your side will look a little different, but I'm keeping it on here just in case. I don't want anything to not open because it's not time. Anyway, bio 1, 2, 3. So that's the first one. January through March. Yay. Oops, right here. That's me. This is the email address. If you email here, it will go to my computer and my phone. This is by far the best way to reach me. Not messaging through Moodle, but through the actual email. And when you email me, please, please, please make it from your GMC email account. because GMC has a lot of lockdown things, and sometimes I won't get it if you don't send it through your GMC email account. I'm totally distracted by my fingernail. I have a tiny little catch. So sorry. All right, we meet on Mondays and Wednesdays from 8 a.m. to 11:55 a.m. Please come as close to 8 a.m. as you can. I typically am there a little bit early. This is Atlanta. I do understand sometimes you get stuck by traffic. However, if you are consistently late, that's not a traffic issue. That is a you issue. So on occasion, I understand. Please get there early, because if we can start on time, it makes everything work a lot better. We get to finish in a much more timely manner. We do a class, a lecture, and a lab. I'm sorry, I'm noticing I have things popping up on my phone now too. Bah. So we have a lecture and a lab. So we are not going to be sitting there doing a lecture for 4 hours. So don't stress. We meet for our lecture in room 5. Our lab is outside and down the hall. We will walk there together on Monday. The door has a big number 11 on it, but there's a sign next to it that says 6. So I gave you both numbers. I will show you this, and we will do lab safety on Monday when we're there. So this is Moodle. You have to be able to get on Moodle, which you obviously have if you're watching this video. Announcements. It's a good idea to check these randomly. Your account should be set up that if I post an announcement, you get an email about it. If you could just randomly check, it's a good idea. If class is going to have to be canceled for some reason, this is where I put it. If I notice an issue with a grade or an assignment, this is where I put it. So good idea to keep track of it. All right, syllabus. This is what I came here for, is to go over the syllabus. All righty. For BAM. There we go. Bio 1, 2, 3, quarter 3, 2025. Can you believe we're in 2025? Holy crap. But anyway, this is the same stuff I have already told you. Again, this is the email address. This is the best way to reach me. Office hours before and after. That's it. I don't have an office. I am not full-time. I am an adjunct. You will hear me talk about that randomly. I have no doubt. So I don't have an office, so I don't have official office hours. But I am available to talk to you. So before or after class, I will happily talk to you. If you realize you need to talk to me on a day that we're not meeting for class, shoot me a message at that email address. We will work out a way to Zoom. I have a Zoom account too, so we can totally do that. All right, this is just all that stuff we have to put up here. We have a brand new textbook. Thought I had updated it. I don't know if I have. This might be the old one that's listed here, but you should be getting a link in your email for our textbook. And I will show you what it looks like in just a moment. It's got a giraffe on the front. All right, if you have any kind of special needs, you need accommodations like a private testing room or any of that kind of stuff, you are supposed to register with the disability officer. The information is right here. There's a phone number and an email. They will walk you through how to apply for accommodations. If it is something I can help with, very simply, just let me know. Example being, I once had a student who was colorblind to the color blue. So I just did not use blue font. Anything that happened to be blue, like these hyperlinks, I adjusted the color, or I did a highlight over it so you could see it. If it's something simple I can do, just let me know. I'll help. I understand. If it's the private testing room or extended time and that stuff, then you have to go through the disability services in order to get it taken care of. Okay. I am forced to do the weighted average for your grades. I hate that weighted percent thing for grades. I prefer point system. I used to always do point system. About a year and a half ago, GMC told me it had to be this because this is what GMC does, and I was forced to change to the weighted percent, so that's what I do. My apologies, not my choice. So the way it breaks down now, the exams are 30% of your grade. The labs are 30% of your grade. You will have an in-class assignment every day that we meet. Plus, you have an online in-class assignment for this first week since I will not be there. That will be 20% of your grade. And then you have quizzes. Every single week, there will be a quiz. That's 10% of your grade. And then other is 10%. The other for this term is there is a lab report you have to do and a scientific method assessment you have to do. Every single bio 1, 2, 3 across the board for all of the GMC people have to do these two required assignments. And so those get lumped under the other. So if you add all of those together, that gives you 100% of your grade. All right, this is information about if you have an issue with your grade, the proper order to argue it. I suggest just chat with me. We'll figure something out. I'll explain to you exactly why you got what you got. Writing across the curriculum. Everybody has to do this. You're going to hear about this in every single class. This will be lumped in with the lab report that you're required to do. All right. You cannot miss more than 3 days with this class or you are automatically withdrawn. So try not to. And when 20% of your grade is based on in-class assignments, it really hurts you. And 30% of your grade is your labs, and we cannot redo the labs. If you miss a lab, you missed it. I do believe I have it set up where it drops the one lowest lab grade. And so that means if you only miss one lab, it's not going to affect your grade. If you miss 2 labs, at least one of those zeros is dropped. So it'll help, that kind of thing. Okay, this is telling you don't be late. Don't like at break, just leave, that kind of thing. If you are going to be absent and you know this ahead of time, talk to me. Let's work this out. If you have an emergency that makes you absent, in order to make it excused so it doesn't count against you, we need documentation. My recommendation is try your hardest not to miss class because you miss a lot when you do. So, but let me know. And this, no makeups, no extensions for the assignments or the exams or the labs. You're told this is when it's due, this is when it's due, period. Exclamation point. The only way that there is a way to make this up is, again, documented military reason or documented medical emergency. That's it. Like if we have a test on a certain day and you are military and then they say, hey, you have to go here. You can't tell them no. So I have to excuse that. If you have a test on this certain day and you end up in the hospital, obviously you can't take it, but you'll have paperwork that shows me that's where you were. Those count as excused. Then we will work something out. Assignments are open for like a week. So you've had time. If you don't do the assignment until the last day and then have an emergency, that was just bad planning on your part. I highly suggest start everything early. And we'll talk about that in class too. I don't accept late work. Just do it. That's it. Okay, email. I already mentioned that about your GMC email. Please use it. Then this is all the other stuff. We've got our ethics. I will neither lie, cheat, steal, nor tolerate those who do. That is the GMC honor code. It's a good thing to know it. Oftentimes on an in-person test, I will make a comment, or if you just put this on your test, I will give you extra credit for it. Not really going to worry too much about the scientific writing right now because I'm going to talk about that in person. These are the rules, the student responsibilities. You are not allowed to have food or drink in the laboratory. We'll talk about this also. Please don't play around on your phones and crap during class, and definitely not in lab. Class, I find it very distracting and it's rude. Lab, it will slow everybody down. And so I will let the entire class know that the reason we can't finish on time is because you are on your phone. And yes, I will do that because in lab, we do things at the same time. So anytime someone is, it puts everybody behind schedule. So you signed up for a class from 8 to 11:55, put the flipping phone away and be in class from 8 to 11:55. It's not that hard, I promise you. I guess the only other really big parts I'm going to point out on the responsibilities is you are supposed to remove your hat when you enter the building. That is proper respect. That also includes hoods for hoodies. So if it is not a religious thing, it should not be on your head. And then also that very last one, 6, be mindful of those who cannot handle strong smells. I'm one of those people, and I've also had students who had issues with this. If you use perfume or cologne, please, tiny bit. Do not do the whoosh thing. And for the love of God, if you own Axe, just throw it away. It is way too much. If you smoke, no matter what it is you smoke, just know that smell clings on you. And when it's cold out, we'll cover this when we talk about diffusion. When you come inside, it just radiates off of you. If you ever come up to me and you see me backing up like this while you're talking to me, it's because something on you smells too strong and I can't handle it. That's one of my sensory issues. I tend to control most smells around me. So please do not come in there reeking of anything, even if you think it's the best smell on the planet. If it's overwhelming, it's overwhelming. And remember, I also mentioned the asthma earlier. All right. I talk about this part in the PowerPoint about how to study, so we'll come back to that. We have our academic success coach. It's right down here. It's Mr. Walker. He's in the office. Chances are everybody's already met him. All right, here's the big one. Assignments close at 10 p.m. Everything locks Sunday at 10 p.m. unless otherwise specified. And I point that out because there are a couple of things that will lock on a Thursday at 10 p.m. and it states it in the description, but it is always 10 p.m. So as soon as somebody says, oh, but Ms. Bernhardt, I thought I had till 11:59, I'm going to tell you to look at this page of the syllabus, 10 p.m. Okay. All right, now this is our breakdown for the entire term. Note at the very bottom, it says that it might be switched around or altered, because you never know when things are going to have to change. We don't meet on Monday. We start on January 8th, which is Wednesday, and I will not be here. So this is online. I will give you a lecture video for chapter 1 and a lecture video, well, a lab lecture video for the scientific method lab. Lab safety will happen on January 13th when we go into the lab, so then I can talk you through. When you look at this, you will see the date of Monday, the date for Wednesday, and it shows you what we're covering. This way, you can read the chapter ahead of time, and then we can discuss it in class. That's what makes it easier. It is not possible for me to cover every single part. You read, and then I highlight, and then you ask more questions. That is the most successful way. You will notice some of these labs have a slash, like cell lab / bubbles. We may do 1, we may do 2 labs. Fatty acids / biomolecules, same kind of thing. Notice on January 20th and February 17th, we do not have in-person class. Those are holidays. Since we meet on Monday, we miss those days. January 22nd, it says exam 1. So week 3, we will finish chapter 4 that Wednesday. The following day, Thursday, exam 1 will open online. You will have until Sunday to turn it in. This is the only test that will be online for you the entire term. I am only doing this one online because of the no in-person class on the 20th. I'm afraid that that sets you up for failure if we go, hey, here you go, have extra days off, come back, bam, take a test. And so I opted to make it an online test. But anyway, anything you want to know that we're doing is listed right here so you can plan. Make sure that you are going to be in class on February 10th, March 3rd, and March 5th, because those are in-class exams and you need to be here. So, yeah. All right. So that is the syllabus. Now, if I can, I can't find. Because when I try to go up high enough, this triggers. Wait, there we go. Kerbam, and then bam. There we go. So that's the syllabus. I have a variety of things here. I like to point out the important dates for the term. Go ahead and check them out. I guess I can show them to you real quick. I do this for all my classes, so if you want to know anything. So we've got our drop add time period. We've got the no class. We've got the no class. Midterm is February 5th. There is no midterm exam in my class, but I still let you know when midterm is. The last day to withdraw is the 21st of February. And so if you're not doing well enough, that is the last day you can withdraw. If you fear you're not doing well enough, seriously, just talk to me. We'll work things out. We can figure some things out. So week 1, I have all of these already set up. Week 1 tells you right off right off the bat, no in-person class. For every week, you will have details. This is going to tell you what to expect for the week. Remind you, first week, not meeting, chapter 1, and then it tells you what you should do. You then also have my PowerPoints. So if you go here, this is the PowerPoint that I use for the lecture that I'm about to do a lecture video. This is the PowerPoint I use in that. I take the book PowerPoint and I get rid of some stuff, and then I add my own stuff. So you will always have a my PowerPoints and a book PowerPoints. Then, here we go, due 10 p.m. Sunday night, you will have the lab 1, which is the scientific method lab. And I am going to have a video that's going to go in here with it. When you do this, this is a good idea. I hope I can do this. Switch role to student. Why would you do hidden student? Anyway, okay. Lab 1, you click on lab 1 and you see this and you're like, what in the world do I do? You notice it doesn't give you any real instructions. This is something that drives me crazy. You have to click on make a submission. And yeah, see, because it's locked. That's what I was afraid of. When you click on the button to do it, it will then give you instructions. But the instructions for this literally are going to be to watch or go through this PowerPoint and watch the video. And that's where the instructions are. But anytime you open something, it will not give you the instructions until you click further. Hate that. It is one of those things that I think is very faulty. So I am going to show you what it will say when you click on it. Ta-da! These are the instructions that will show up for you. View the scientific method lab PowerPoint and watch the video. Follow the instructions given in those locations. So there you go. That's what you're going to get. There's also a quiz, in-class assignment 1. So when you click on in-class assignment 1, it's going to tell you that in the video lecture, I tell you what to do here and to write it up. So that's what you're going to do for that. Then you have an extra quiz and a cell quiz. Quiz 1, I know I'm just clicking like crazy. Quiz 1, please note, you get 3 chances for this quiz, but it's the average grade and there's a time limit. It is 15 multiple choice questions. So that means you have 2 minutes per question. I suggest look over the material before you take the quiz, because again, your score is your average. You get 3 chances, but if you open it up just to look at the stuff and you don't get a good score the first time, that's going to bring your total score down. So I highly suggest prepare. The extra quiz, this is here every single week. It is all of the questions in the test bank for whatever chapters we cover. So sometimes it's going to be really big, sometimes much smaller, but it's unlimited. You can do as many of these as you want. This is the best way to learn the material. And all the questions that are in the quiz are here. So if you start with the extra quiz, you can actually find the right answers for the regular quiz. And I'll show you tricks on that when we meet in class too. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's it for that. Now, where is this? We're going to finish this so then we can move on. All right. What should you do? A lot of people haven't taken biology before. They haven't done science in a really long time and they think it's hard. It's really not that difficult. It's just different. And a lot of times you may or may not have had a science teacher that made it seem more difficult. So one of the big things is understanding the words. That's why I put at the top, look at the keywords and make sure to learn the definitions. I am not going to give you a vocabulary test. However, if you don't know what a word means and that word is in the question, it makes it where you can't answer the question. Throughout the textbook, you have things like check your progress, test yourself, things like that. That is the best way to see if you're understanding the material. Email protocol. I've already talked about that. Email me from your GMC email account. Please do not send me an email that starts with my Linda or any of these types of things. Remember, it's supposed to be remotely professional setting. It's good practice for understanding how to email people later. This is in here because this is what's always in here. Clearly, you can't ask me anything right now because this is all online. So I would say, if any questions popped into your head while I was going over this, like, oh my God, does she ever stop talking? No, please don't ask me that because no, I don't. Jot it down, shoot me a message, ask me, and we'll cover it. So I guess that's it for the really long welcome and syllabus video. I really didn't mean to go this long. So sorry. Next, I need to do your video lecture and your scientific method lab video. And you're going to be so sick of seeing me before you even ever meet me in person. But, hey, it'll be fun. So I guess that's it, and peace out.